Okay. I just finished an advanced screening of, well, I don't know how advanced it really is because I think this movie actually came out last year. I think it was screened last year at maybe some festivals and stuff. But I watched a trailer for this a little while back, and it was for a movie called The Courier with Benedict Cumberbatch, and I can't remember the name of the lady who played, not the lady who played his wife. I know who she is. I don't remember her name, and I know the girl that played the CIA lady or whatever she was. She played in the movie I'm Your Woman that I did a review for earlier. Anyway, I just finished watching this movie, and I was like, I'm not going to do a review for this film. And it wasn't because I didn't like it. It was just because, okay, well, if you guys know the true story, which while I was watching it, it was really good. Okay, let me just start off by saying it's very well done. The acting is absolutely excellent in here. And the pacing was very good. I never really felt bored or anything, but after it was going for a little bit, I decided to look up, because I went into this knowing that this was based on a true story, and I knew that Benedict Cumberbatch's character, I knew that he was able to get away from the situation, not unscathed, but he got away from the situation, and he actually, gosh, I can't remember his name now. Whatever. Jeez, I just was looking at it. I don't remember his name. Greville or something like that. Maybe I'll put it up in the video here. I knew that he died in like 1990. But I hadn't done any research on the I hadn't done any research on the Russian guy. So while I'm watching the movie, I looked it up because I think the reason I looked it up is because they had a code name for him. I think it was called Iron Bark. And that was actually going to be the name of the movie originally. I think when they screened it last year, it was called Iron Bark. Excuse me. Yes, I just watched it. Like, I just finished it a minute before I started recording. I didn't even take time to gather pictures. I'll put the pictures in when I'm editing. But anyway, so I found out what happened to the Russian guy. And one thing I really appreciated about this movie, there was even an article that was written about these two men. Oleg was the Russian guy's name, and Greville was the British guy's name, but I can't remember I don't think that was his first. I don't think that was his first. Whatever. Let's say Greville. I might be wrong. I might be misremembering it, but Oleg was the Russian guy's name. And so basically the synopsis of the story is that this was during the Cold War. I think it gets started in 1960, and so tensions are bad, between the U.S., Britain, and Russia, but basically between the West, the free world, and Russia, communist, not the free world. I know, you can debate forever about the bad things that America and the UK have been responsible for, and I certainly have done my share of that, but honest to God, you guys, yeah, I'm sorry, there is just no excuse for the likes of something like communism. I don't care what sort of arguments can be made in support of it. In the end, it comes down to just a fundamental violation of human rights in so many ways. It's absolutely abhorrent. And it's very worrisome to see that so many people openly support this ideology, and how easily they either forget or just they're not aware of what has been done in the name of this ideology. And anyway, so they recruit, hold on a minute. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. They recruit the UK intelligence and CIA. They recruit this British businessman to go into Russia. It starts off as something very simple because the Oleg, the Russian guy, he is someone high up. He's got a very high position. He has access to all this sensitive information, but he is scared of the direction that Khrushchev has taken the country in, and he wants peace. So he starts to, he somehow gets information to the UK and the US, and they concoct this plan to bring this just normal everyday businessman into the situation because he's not connected with anybody in the military. He's not in any sort of position of power. And so he goes there and he has this front of being a businessman and trying to open up some sort of trade between the Russians and the UK, and also the Oleg, the guy that he comes in contact with, his position is that he's also supposed to, basically his job is to try to steal business secrets or industry secrets or whatever from the West. So it's a good cover for both of them because, you know, it looks like this UK guy is coming in, he's just trying to do business, and that he doesn't know he's being duped by this Russian guy who's just trying to steal information or whatever, like trade secrets, trade information, business stuff. But these two men, they develop a bond, and then it gets to this situation, and it's happening around the time of I think, according to the story, now there may have been other elements involved too that got this information to the West, but according to the movie, he was the source that brought the information to light to the US and the UK that Russia was sending missiles over to Cuba, around the Cuban Missile Crisis and all that. And they said at the end of the movie that he was considered what was the wording that they used? He was considered the asset that had provided the most information, intel or something like that. Like I think they said 5,000 documents or 5,000 whatever. I cannot remember the exact wording, but anyway, so one thing that was central to the story was the friendship between the two men, and how that they were just two men who wanted to do what they could to bring about peace. And of course, because the Russian guy, they were both caught, and the UK guy spent some time in jail over there, and he was mistreated because that's just the way it is over there, or was over there. It still is, I'm sure. And not that it's great here, but still, at least we sort of kind of halfway try to hold the people in power to some sort of account. They get away with a lot of crap, but at least it's not viewed as highly acceptable for abuses of power to happen. Whereas over there, in communist Russia, that was just a thing, and neighbors would very easily turn on each other to, if they felt like that the state was being betrayed or whatever, anyway. But these two men, their friendship, and the Russian guy, because he was Russian, was in a high position of, or high level or whatever, of course he paid the ultimate price. And I was thinking when I watched the movie, towards the end, you know. I mean, obviously I was thinking of it during the movie, how brave these two men were. And it just seemed so unfair what happened. Anyway, I don't mean for this whole video to be... Maybe I shouldn't have filmed this so soon after watching it. But anyway, whatever. This is a good movie. I probably won't ever watch it again. I mean, there's movies like that I see and it's like, this was a really good movie. I don't want to see it again. I know the story for the most part. I'm sure there's a lot of other details that weren't brought into the, you know, the story because of time. They had to condense stuff down. Something else I appreciated about the movie is that they didn't get caught up in extraneous ridiculousness with regard to the girl, Rachel Brosnahan or whatever. I think that's her name. Anyway, she played the CIA girl. They didn't get caught up in any sort of extraneous type of narrative that had nothing to do with the story at hand. There was no, you know, there wasn't any sort of like silly feminist narrative that was woven in. It was just about this, you know, these two guys and what they were trying to do. And they didn't complicate anything. You know, like if this were a fiction movie, they would have made it to where the UK guy and the American woman hooked up, and he, you know, I mean, they would have just added all sorts of ridiculousness to the plot. But because this was based on a true story, I mean, I don't know how much of this was actually true, but apparently one thing that was also interesting about it, or just was kind of like, oh, the UK guy was in a tough spot, was because he apparently had a history where he had cheated on his wife. So when he was doing all of these clandestine things, he was told not to bring his wife in on it, not to tell her anything. So he didn't. But she was suspicious of him, obviously. I mean, he was being secretive, and he was changing because he was under so much stress of the secrets that he was hiding. That tickles. Sorry, my rats are grooming me by licking my hand, and it's so calming. So he was under a lot of stress, and his wife was obviously quite suspicious of him. Now, the movie presents it in the end. He comes home, and it said he died peacefully in 1990. I don't know if any sort of issues, you know, continue to be between his wife and himself, and if their marriage continued. That's obviously something I could probably quickly find out by looking on Wikipedia. But the acting, or just the storyline between him and his wife was interesting. And the girl who played his wife was a very good actress. I've seen her before in a couple of movies. I saw her in, the very first thing I saw her in, shoot, I can't remember the name of it, but dang it, I can't, that's so aggravating when I can't remember the name of, I mean, it was an okay film. I probably won't watch it again. She was good in there. But then the next time I saw her, she played in Chernobyl. And she was good in there as well. But her character annoyed the crap out of me after a while. But anyway, she was still good in there. She was really good in here. And it was interesting to see the dynamic between them and the strain that it did put on their marriage. You didn't see so much of that with from the side of the Russian guy. And honestly, I think maybe the reason they changed the title of this film from Iron Bark, which was the code name for the Russian guy, to The Courier, is because this movie actually is told more from the perspective of Benedict Cumberbatch's character. So it was more about him. And that makes sense that they would have done that name change. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to add about this movie. This whole review has been kind of rambly. Like I said, at first I was thinking, I'm not going to do a review. This is so freaking depressing. But then I was like, you know what? This movie was well done. And I think it's important for people to see this and just remember how bad things were and how dangerous communism is. And this is why it's important not to be so willing to let a government grow to the point that it does in communist countries, and to the point that it's doing even in our own country, you guys. It's so dangerous. And this is why I am just always very put off by things that I see that just lead to the continual growth of government and their overreaching impact on everybody's life. And even in this country, I mean, I would definitely rather live here than I would have rather live in communist Russia. But even here, in a lot of ways, we're not really free. And that's largely because, well, that is all because of how much power we've given the government. And it's just it's not a good place to be in. And I know people feel like it's a good thing to sacrifice liberty in the name of safety and security. And this is a fine line that the government has to walk, because they are responsible for our safety, but not necessarily to the point that they're taking it, that they have taken it, and that they're taking it now. And this is why I'm just inherently, my hackles go up when it comes to the subject of government and government intrusion, government control, and how easily some people accept these things that government does that are actually violating in the name of our safety. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that went on in communist Russia. Not that Russia's doing so great right now. I mean, I don't know. I still don't feel like they have the amount of freedom that they deserve over there. And I think that's largely because of who's in control right now. But I could ramble on and on about this stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and bring this to a close. Anyway, I do recommend this movie to be watched, and for the acting to be just to be appreciated, because it was very well done. Everybody did a wonderful job. And yeah, it's worth at least one viewing. I mean, obviously I can see why maybe people wouldn't be interested in it. And at first I was thinking that I would not watch it, but then I got invited to see a free screening of it. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. And then maybe I'll leave a review. And then I was watching it and I was thinking, I don't know, I'm going to leave a review. And then I changed my mind. I can be very impulsive sometimes when it comes to stuff like this. But the main reason that I did this review is because I feel the subject matter is so important. And I think it deserves to be paid attention to. The story in this movie deserves to be paid attention to and remembered. And the sacrifices of these men, and especially the Russian guy, to be honored and appreciated. Because if it weren't for people like that, doing the little that they could do to try to make the world a safer place, you know, who knows what the heck could have happened if it weren't for people trying to, you know, people listening to their conscience and just wanting good for humanity. So anyway, okay, I'm going to stop now because I got a headache because I've been crying too much. That's annoying. This is one of the reasons why I don't like to watch emotional films. It gets me all bummed and upset. And now this is all I'm going to be thinking about for the rest of this evening. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and stop this recording and then go watch some reviews for the Snyder Cut, which is coming out tomorrow and which I'm very excited for. So, okay guys, I don't have anything else to add to this, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. Later.